What's going on, guys? Welcome to Oz Fury Gaming. Today I'm here to talk about around the verse and all the information that came in it. To start us off, we have AI Behaviour here, and basically, in my opinion, AI Behaviour is described as animation and text logs formed together to make interactions with NPC characters. So here we have a shopkeeper, which we could see on Port also or anywhere in the verse that has a storefront. Next up, we have nav points. Nav points are described basically to allow us to have a position to be saved. So you find an outpost on a moon or planet or wherever, you can go back there thanks to that nav point. You can set it to friendly use so your friends can see it if you choose to, and only certain friends. Also too, though, it can be hacked and found by other people if they scan it or get close enough to it to that point of view. Next up though, it's a physical entity, so it can actually be destroyed, but also too, those data points can be taken and sold to pirates as an example and get ambushed from it. Also too, they require power to run, so you've got to keep supplying power. Next up is the Ekhart state machine. What this bad boy is simply a flow chart for Miles Ekhart as a mission giver. There'll be 2 of these for 3.0. Basically, you earn reputation by doing missions with him. You get bigger and better missions via the mission giver, depending what's available at the time. After this as well, we had Tony Zurovic, and he's been doing some good gear for the AI submission. If you're unaware what AI submission is, basically it's the data and logic for NPCs in the PU. After that, we had the Drake Cutlass Black LOD. Basically, they've been working on the level of detail down to level of detail 5, which will allow the ship to come in and function properly in a live build. After this, they talked about Diffusion and said they've been doing quite a fair bit of work in Diffusion. And Diffusion, guys, is basically what will be allowing all the components work with the game systems. So Diffusion has had the shopping service integrated, which is a non-diffusion system, via the gateway, which basically allows non-diffusion systems to become an internal service as seen by Diffusion. They also did integration of Diffusion code into the primary development stream, which will be deployed for 3.0. After that, they talked about cargo. Now this is a big thing for 3.0, obviously, so what they've been showing here is 25, 50 and 75 centimeter sized crates, cubic, that will be able to be picked up via crouching, standing, and also 0G. Now, the important for 0G, guys, is basically they wanted to make it that you can say destroy a freelancer or any other form of cargo ship, go down there, take their cargo, put it onto your ship, and then go and sell it. And as we can see here, it's looking quite savvy. Obviously, there's no massive level of detail or anything, but the animation work looks very crisp. Speaking about animation work, they had Steve Bender come in for one day on the mocap, and they were doing screen or mocap capture of first-person gun use, like walking around as we could see. Also, too, they had Sandy Gardner rock up and do female exercises. Not sure what this will be doing. Maybe it'll be for Squadron 42 or just background noise, like when you're at a space station. Next up, too, they were showing here all the different other works for the next days, where they were showing bartending as an example, what it'll be like to go into a bar and ask for a beer or something to that extent. After this, they were showing off, they've been working on creating a better experience for flying, so making a more realistic HUD movement or head movement when you're inside a spaceship, such as the M50 Interceptor here. And also, too, they've been working on general bug fixes, so for assets, when they get moved across to the new systems, making sure that they will work correctly. Because I tell you what, that looks friggin' scary as. After this, they've been showing off too all the Grey Cat and all the other physics-based stuff that'll be working for good old 3.0, and look at that. We have a nice crisp landing as well as that Grey Cat flying out of that caterpillar. Rip that person. And it's looking quite beautiful in my opinion too. They've been working on bringing in first-person guns for the PU and Star Marine, which will be allowing us to have a greater variety of weapons to our disposal. The running, stamina, oxygen systems have been coming online too. The last thing from the Austin studio, guys, was this randomized planetary tech working on creating tools for that. Now, moving on to Turbulent, they talked about the RSI website, how they've been building the ship stats pages and what they want it to look like. And then also too, they talked about 0.35, which will be released in the next couple of days, showing that you can create, go to a thread and you can make it either nested or classic, instead of having to create it as a nested or classic. For 0.36, which will be a fairly small patch, they're going to work on better personalized profiles to be seen, like, click on someone's name, it'll show up. And then also too, they've been working on easier organization. Now we had the guys talk about item 2.0 coming in for 3.0 alpha, talking about how they've been integrating ships for it and sorting out the bugs for that. Basically, the old ship systems were designed as a whole entity, if that makes sense, where now they're taking those entities, breaking them down, like the components down to block form, so each piece can be plugged in wherever they choose and set it to whatever they want. This will allow better work for flying around, as well as better work for getting into, say, turrets or other positions on ships, or, for example, allowing you to use a P-52 Merlin off the Andromeda or other constellation variants. So what they talked about here, guys, for example, was the two turrets never talked to each other because they were two separate entities, but now they do work correctly. And also, like for the Caterpillar here, they've got all the different lighting mechanics working correctly. So I just wanted to say I hope you guys enjoyed the video and got something out of it. Leave a like if you liked the video, dislike obviously if you didn't like it. Leave a comment if you found any other information that you found interesting that I might have missed. I'm always happy for a chat. And leave a subscribe too if you want to see more. I hope to catch you guys around the verse, and toodaloo.